You think one more message will bring them closer, but sometimes it does the opposite. You send it because your chest feels tight. The silence feels too loud. Part of you is already imagining them leaving. So you type, delete, type again, and finally press send. For a few seconds, you feel relief. Then the waiting starts again. This is how it begins. Not with drama, just with a small fear that says, if I don't fix this right now, I might lose them. But the harder you try to keep someone, the more pressure they may feel to leave. And the part nobody talks about is this. You may be doing it because you love deeply, but they may be feeling your fear before they feel your love. Imagine someone lying in bed at night, phone glowing in the dark. They sent a message hours ago, no reply. They tell themselves they're probably busy, but their mind starts building a story. Maybe I was too much. Maybe I sounded needy. Maybe they met someone better. Maybe they are slowly losing interest. So they check if the person is online. They reread the last conversation. They search for meaning in a short reply, a missing emoji, a tone that may not even be there. And then comes the thought, maybe I should explain. Just one more message. That message is not really about communication. It is about trying to calm panic. This is the closeness pressure loop. You feel distance. Your fear rises. You reach harder. They feel pressure. They pull back. And when they pull back, your fear says, see, I was right. But you are not trying to push them away. You are trying to feel safe. One way this happens is over-explaining. You do not simply say, that hurt me. You explain why it hurt, why you understand their side, why you are sorry, and why you hope they are not upset. On the surface, it looks mature. But underneath, it may be fear wearing the clothes of communication. And here's where most people misunderstand themselves. Over-explaining is often the language of someone who was once punished for being misunderstood. Maybe people used to leave before listening. Maybe your feelings were called too sensitive. Maybe you learned that if you did not explain perfectly, you could lose love. So now you explain until there is nothing left of you except the fear of being seen the wrong way. But connection does not grow when every conversation feels like a trial. The other person may feel they are always being asked to prove they are not mad, not leaving, not disappointed, not changing. Slowly, love begins to feel like a responsibility instead of a choice. Then, reassurance becomes the center of everything. Are we okay? Did I do something wrong? You still like me, right? When they say yes, your body relaxes, for a moment. But if the wound is deeper than the moment, no answer will feel safe for long. You are not wrong for wanting comfort. But when every delay feels like rejection, the relationship stops being a place to breathe. Another quiet way fear pushes people away is when you start disappearing to be easier to love. You agree when you want to say no. You laugh when you feel hurt. You hide your needs because you do not want to seem difficult. But inside, you are not calm. You are negotiating with your own loneliness. You tell yourself, if I ask for less, maybe they will stay. But the cost is high. The more you become what you think they want, the less they can actually meet you. People can sense when your yes is not fully yours. Trying to be perfect can make you harder to connect with because real closeness needs a real person, not a version of you built to avoid abandonment. Now pause here, because this matters. The problem is not that you care too much. The problem is that your nervous system may treat uncertainty like danger. A slow reply is not just a slow reply. It feels like a warning. A little space feels like the beginning of being replaced. So you react quickly. You try to repair something that may not even be broken. And sometimes, that urgency becomes louder than your love. This is the twist. The behavior that makes someone feel pressured may have started as the behavior that once helped you survive. Maybe you grew up around unpredictable love. Maybe attention had to be earned. Maybe affection disappeared when someone was angry. So when someone you care about becomes distant, your body does not think they are busy. It thinks, I am about to be left. And once your body believes love is about to disappear, it does not wait calmly. It grabs, it pleases, it apologizes, it explains. It tries to become impossible to leave. That does not make you unattractive. It makes you wounded in a place that still believes love must be chased before it vanishes. But fear cannot create the safety it is begging for. It can only create more urgency. So what do you do when you feel the urge to hold tighter? Start with one pause. Before sending the extra message, ask, am I trying to connect, or am I trying to calm panic? Before apologizing, ask, did I actually do something wrong, or am I afraid they are upset? Before changing yourself, ask, am I being kind, or am I abandoning myself? You do not need to become cold. You do not need to play games. You only need to stop letting fear speak first. Healthy love can handle honesty, needs, and reassurance sometimes, but it also needs space, trust, and room for two people to breathe. You become safer to love when your care no longer arrives as panic. You become more yourself when you stop performing for a place in someone's life. And closeness is not built by gripping harder. Sometimes, it begins when you loosen your grip enough to come back to yourself. If this made you feel seen, stay with Empty But Aware. This is a place for the quiet, emotional patterns you never knew how to explain.